This might be the most overlooked cafe comeback in the Canadian business history. I think we might actually be looking at one of the most underrated rebrand in the cafe world. Yes, you just heard that right. The quiet Canadian coffee chain that probably have not thought about in years is making a strategic comeback by doing the one thing global giants like Starbucks cannot do. They are going hyper local. And the best part is that this is all planned. What makes it even more interesting that the reason for this comeback are easy to miss unless you look very closely. They do not have massive marketing campaigns or viral ads, and yet they're rebuilding their brand store by store and latte by latte. Well, I decided to dig deeper into Second Cup strategy, and it should not be a surprise to you that this brand is a lot smarter than it seems. So how did Second Cup go from being fading cafe chain to rebranding its identity from the ground up? That brings us to step number 1. Second Cup became the master of Canadian identity and community-centric brand positioning. We all know branding is important in the food and beverage business, but how can a cafe chain compete when they do not have a global muscle like Starbucks or volume pricing like Tim Horton? And instead of trying to beat them in their own game, Second Cup doubled down on its roots, and that's where everything started to shift. They realized something that most big chains completely overlook. People do not just want coffee, they want to feel connected to the place they're drinking in. Second Cup was not trying to look different, they were tapping into something deeper. We all know loyalty programs are everywhere, but how do you make one that actually works? And more importantly, how do you build customer relationships that scale, especially when they're competing with the brands that spend billions of dollars on ads? And instead of shouting louder, Second Cup got smarter. They realized something that most coffee chains overlook. People do not just want points, they want connections, convenience, and customization. And this strategy led to one of the most quietly effective digital rollout in the food service. Second Cup launched an experience that actually rewards frequent visits, not just purchases. Customers can earn points, get personalized offers, and unlock seasonal bonuses and exclusive drinks. But here's where it gets even smarter. Second Cup does not just hand out coupons, they track digital behavior, meaning they know what customers order, when they visit, and even what promos drive actions. That data powers everything. And just like that, Second Cup turned its loyal program into a digital engine. But here's the real genius. Instead of trying to be louder than their competitors, Second Cup focused on building trust and frequency. So how did Second Cup keep things fresh in a market where coffee shops are on every block? That brings us to step number 3. Second Cup became the master of product inventions and target customers' experience. And instead of trying to copy trends, Second Cup focused on doing two things very well: keeping their menu fresh and exciting, and making their cafe feel like a lifestyle brand for younger, quality conscious customers. Second Cup did not just launch another vanilla latte. They introduced new drinks, upgraded their tea lines, and expanded into iced beverages, and started regularly rolling out seasonal limited time offers. These drops created excitement and urgency, but they did not stop at flavor. Second Cup started actively targeting millennials and young professionals, people who value quality experience and perks. They updated their store designs reflecting their audience: modern, clean, and warm cafe that balance elevated design with cozy energy. It's not just coffee, it's where you work, meet, vibe, and scroll. And who knows, maybe because of this video you can learn from this story and build smarter food business like them. And if you found this breakdown helpful, I'll ask you for a quick subscribe. Thank you.